behavior are entirely dependent on causes and conditions of which the internal are most influential. This means we can transform our attitudes and emotional responses by learning to create the specific causes and conditions from which positive and beneficial states of mind and feelings arise. We can therefore enhance the quality of life on our planet in as far as we, the individuals who inhabit it, each accept our role in creating such a change and are willing to undertake a personal transformation which can only come about through conscious effort.
Aryadeva's life. The following account is based on the traditional biographies of Aryadeva found in Buddha's, Buddhistan, and Taranatha's histories of Buddhism in India, and on other written sources as well as the current oral tradition. Aryadeva is said to have been born on the island of Sinhala, today identified as Sri Lanka. Legend has it that there was a fine lotus pool in the royal gardens of Sinhala. During the day the lotuses opened to the sun and at night they closed and bowed their heads. The royal gardener noticed that one of them had stayed closed for many days and reported this to the king, who came to take a look. Intuition told him that something extraordinary was about to happen, and he instructed the gardener to take good care of the lotus. Every day the king and his court went down to the lotus pool, but the mysterious flower remained closed for 7 days. On the 8th day, while everyone was watching, the lotus began to open. Its thousands of petals slowly unfolded and they saw at its center a bright-eyed 8-year-old boy whose body was covered with dew. The king was amazed and delighted, and at once decided to adopt the boy.
Taranatha dismisses this story as too fanciful and bases his account on, among other sources, the brief statement concerning Aryadeva's life which Candrakirti makes at the beginning of his commentary, and which Gyel-tsap cites in his preface. According to this, Aryadeva was the son and heir of King Pancasrfiga. Acting on his strong wish to be ordained, he abdicated the throne and received monastic vows from the abbot Hemadeva. He completed a thorough study of the 3 sets of teaching, tripitaka, before leaving his native land to visit the temples and reliquary monuments of South India. He met Nagarjuna while the latter was still in King Udayana's country, and when Nagarjuna went to Sri Parvata, Aryadeva accompanied him, became his disciple and remained there to study with him. Some accounts say that his qualities were as great, if not greater than, his teachers. Before they came face to face, Nagarjuna is said to have sent an attendant to Aryadeva with a bowl of water representing the depth of his knowledge. Aryadeva responded by placing a sharp needle in the water to indicate that he could penetrate all that Nagarjuna knew. In histories of the 80 greatly accomplished yogis he is identified with Karnaripa, who surpassed Nagarjuna in the practice of living off vital essences compounded into pills. While Nagarjuna's compound could bring a withered tree back to life, Aryadeva's urine alone was so potent that when he mixed it with a little water and sprinkled it on a dry tree, the tree burst into leaf. During the time he remained with Nagarjuna, Aryadeva gained many powerful attainments and proficiency in both orthodox and heterodox philosophical systems.
A Brahmin called Durdharsakala, whom Taranatha identifies with Mitrasita B, and who according to the Tibetan tradition was in fact Asvaghosha before he became a Buddhist, had been going from place to place for 12 years challenging Buddhists in philosophical debate and contests of magical feats. Wherever he went, he defeated them and seemed invincible. He forced the monks to pay homage to Shiva, deprived them of their power and humiliated them, thereby causing discouragement and chaos in the spiritual community. His invincibility had been gained by propitiating Shiva, who had appeared to him in a vision. When Shiva asked him what boon he could grant, Mitrasita answered, "Give me victory in debate." Shiva promised that no one born from the womb should ever defeat him. When Mitrasita came to Nalanda, the Buddhist monks feared they could not defeat such a daunting opponent and decided to request Nagarjuna for help. They performed a rite of offering to the protector Mahakala. During this ritual a crow emerged from the heart of a naturally formed stone image of the protector. A letter was tied to the crow's neck and it carried their plea for help to the south. When he heard of the request, Aryadeva offered to go in his teacher's place. Before allowing him to leave, however, Nagarjuna stringently tested his prowess in debate by holding the opponent's position. Their debate continued for 7 days, during which Aryadeva demonstrated his expertise. Finally, in his elation, he got carried away and triumphantly declared Nagarjuna's defeat. This was inauspicious. Although satisfied that his student could hold his own, Nagarjuna warned him that he would have to make a sacrifice on the way. He also added that if he did so without regret, what he sacrificed would later be restored to him.
Aryadeva traveled north with miraculous swift-footedness. As he was passing through a forest, he came upon a woman who was trying to accomplish certain powers and needed the eye of a learned monk to do so. He pulled out his eye in response to her entreaty, but felt regret when he looked back and saw her grinding it with a stone. He therefore remained one-eyed for the rest of his life. On arriving at Nalanda, he found that Mitrasita and his followers had, with the king's consent, taken charge and were keeping watch on all coming and going to and from the monastery. He secretly sent in a message to tell the monks he had arrived. Some accounts say he entered the monastery accompanied by a water carrier, while another version recounts that he took off his robes and put them in his alms bowl which he hid in a load of wood. Having daubed his body with ashes, he shouldered his load and entered the monastery as a woodcutter in the company of a cowherd. There were several skirmishes before the real contest began. As the monks entered and left the temple each day, Mitrasita had been counting their shaven heads. On the day after Aryadeva's arrival, Mitrasita was counting the monks and was just about to touch Aryadeva's head with the counting stick, when Aryadeva took hold of his hand.
"Where has this round head come from?" demanded Mitrasita. "It has come from my neck," replied Aryadeva. Mitrasita then said, "There's a one-eyed man here who wasn't here before," and thought, "So this is the one who is to debate with me." Aryadeva then exclaimed, "That was their first encounter." After some days, Mitrasita and his followers were performing ritual ablutions in the Ganges for the purpose of purification. Aryadeva came down to the river carrying a golden pot and ostentatiously began to wash the outside of it. Mitrasita asked him why he was washing the outside when the inside was full of excrement. Aryadeva replied, "What is the use of washing your body with water from the Ganges, when you are full of defilements?" On another occasion, Mitrasita challenged Aryadeva as he had unsuccessfully challenged other monks in Nalanda, for none of them were willing to face him in debate. Standing in a doorway with one foot on either side of the threshold, he demanded, "Am I going out or coming in?" Aryadeva answered, "That depends on your intention." Another day, Mitrasita held up a bird and asked, "Am I going to kill this bird or not?" Aryadeva answered, "That depends on your compassion." One night Aryadeva entered a temple and made his bed there. At dawn he went into the room where the Ganti was kept and began to strike the wooden gong used for summoning the monks. The monks who lived in the temple tried to stop him, but he continued to strike it and also beat a great drum used for the same purpose. The king, hearing the gong and the drum, inquired what was going on. When he found out, he ordered the debate between the Buddhists and non-Buddhists to begin. The Buddhist scholars were seated on one side of the hall, the non-Buddhist scholars on the other. 2 seats piled high with cushions were placed in the center for the contestants, while the king sat in the place of honor. 1 cushion was to be removed from the opponent's seat each time a contestant won a point.
Mitrasita began by challenging Aryadeva to debate with a magic slate on which the correct answers appeared of their own accord. Aryadeva promptly dealt with this by spreading oil on it, which prevented the answers from appearing. Next, Mitrasita produced a debating parrot also capable of giving the right answers, but Aryadeva at once emanated a cat which killed the parrot. When Mitrasita accused him of having done an ill deed, Aryadeva told him that he had left a meditator in Sri Parvata whose task was to purify him of ill deeds. Mitrasita demanded to know how one person could purify another's ill deeds. Aryadeva replied by asking how, in that case, the cat's action of killing the parrot could be his ill deed.